Paris Treaty to be ratified by India on October 2nd. What are the salient features of Paris Agreement on climate change? When will be the Paris Agreement coming into force legally? India accounting for 4.5% of the global emission, what are the challenges ahead in achieving to be ratified Paris Agreement? GS Paper 3, Conservation, Climate Change. What is the context about? India announced it would ratify the Paris Agreement on climate change on October 2nd, the birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi, who led his life with minimum carbon footprint. Earlier India had not ratified it yet, as it sought greater flexibility for its industrial and economic growth plans. India had submitted its intended nationally determined contribution, INDC, to the UN body on October 1, 2015, and later made it public, the next day coinciding it with the birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. So far, 60 countries including the world's top 2 polluters, China and USA, have ratified the agreement, which was adopted by 195 countries in Paris last December. Salient features of Paris Agreement on climate change. The Paris Agreement, reached in December, is the first global accord to commit nearly every nation to take domestic actions to tackle climate change. Countries will have to aim to keep global temperatures from rising more than 2 degrees Celsius by 2100, with an ideal target of keeping temperature rise below 1.5 degrees Celsius. The agreement gives countries considerable leeway in determining how to cut their emissions, but mandates that they report transparently on those efforts. Every 5 years, nations will be required to assess their progress towards meeting their climate commitments and submit new plans to strengthen them. When will be the Paris Agreement coming into force legally? The agreement will enter into force 30 days after 55 countries, representing 55% of global emissions, deposit their instruments of ratification, acceptance or accession with the UN Secretary-General. Though the national ratification has already crossed the threshold of 55 countries, it has so far only accounted for nearly 47.62% of the global emission. Decision of India, which accounts for 4.1% of the global emission, will now bring it closer to the emission threshold of 55%. The magic figure of 55% will certainly be reached this year, as 14 more countries, accounting for 12.58% of the global emission, had on September 21 committed to join the agreement this year, most probably. India accounting for 4.5% of the global emission, what are the challenges ahead in achieving ratified Paris Agreement? India will have to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions by 33–35% from the levels on 2005. This goal has to be achieved by 2030. Another tough commitment is reduction in emission intensity targets. To achieve that, India will also need a 175 gigawatt power production capacity from renewable energy sources by 2025. A massive increase in green cover. India will need to increase the forest cover by 5 million hectares and also improve the quality of green cover of an equal measure. This will be used to achieve the targeted absorption of 2.53 tons of carbon from the atmosphere.